So, good morning, everyone. My name is Nicole Hahn. I'm with World Venture, their digital coordinator, and this is Gerry. I'm going to let Gerry introduce himself and who he is with World Venture. Go ahead, Gerry.
Well, Nicole, yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm Gerry Schroeder. My wife and I, Marla, serve in Russia. Um, Obviously, right now with Corona, we're back in the States based here, but we're still communicating and partnering with our team overseas and basically all around the world. And we work with worship leaders and other church leaders in Russian-speaking churches, mostly in Russia, helping them to develop Christ-empowered worship, which is transformational. And we help them on the theological side, giving them a biblical background for and a purpose and a groundwork for their churches to build on, as well as some practical tips on how to make that work well within their church.
Perfect. Thank you. So today we're going to share some stories on mentoring, and you had an interesting subject called the 4 phases of mentoring. Do you want to go into that a bit?
Well, sure. Yeah, along with helping with the worship and providing resources, we want to nurture leaders, and that's just been a part of my training and my ministry for decades. And I came across a system of mentoring and developing and nurturing leaders that has 4 phases in it. One is that the first phase is where you do the ministry with someone and they observe what you're doing. The second phase is you're doing the ministry with someone and they're helping you to do the ministry. Then the next phase is you're helping them as they are doing the ministry, taking on more role of it. And then the last phase is you're observing as they are doing the ministry. It can be any kind of ministry. It can be in a leadership role. It can be greeting people at the church. You always do ministry together so that you can help someone walk through and learn those phases and actually kind of duplicate and multiply yourself in ministry for people.
Perfect. So we have someone who's willing to share his story about how you mentored him. Is that how it went?
Well, yeah, one of the guys I first met was in Russia when we first moved there 15 years ago or so. I guess it's coming up on 16 years now. Was Andrei Berezhnoi. And one of the first things I started to do was work with him. And I realized that his guitar was going out of tune every song. And he would stop and tune his guitar after he got finished with every song. And I said, this is not good. And one of the churches, Bent Tree Bible Fellowship in Dallas, our main supporting church, gave us a guitar to take over to Russia to use however I saw fit. And I realized, well, this needs to go to Andrei because he's a very talented worship leader. He's got a lot of potential in leading teams. I said, here you go. This is a guitar that you can use. And he goes, well, how long do I get it? I said, well, it's yours. He goes, well, do I owe you anything? I said, no, just use it for ministry, and it's yours. So the next week I came to rehearsal a little early to get set up with all of the technical equipment, and I saw Andrei sitting there on the front pew of the church with a young high school student, and he had his old guitar, and he was giving it to the young high school student and said, this is your guitar, now you can use it, it's yours, I'm giving it to you. And he goes, well, what do I need to give for you? I have to give you something. And Andrei goes, no, just use it for God's work, for ministry, and it's yours. And I'm like, yes, this is really so awesome. And that's just those little things like that you do while you're walking along together in ministry, where you're helping to show and helping to develop and helping to mentor people. Yeah, so Andrei was one of the guys, one of many guys that we've been mentoring, but he's one of our key worship leaders and guys that we've been mentoring in Russia. And I think we got him here today, right?
Hey, Andrei, are you there?
Yeah, hello everyone. I speak a little bit, try to speak English. And meet Gerry was a great blessing for me, for my life, for my family. When I'm young, in church, we had fellowship with our youth leader, who helped us grow spiritually and develop. But in the worship ministry, I was on my own. We don't At that time, we don't have any worship leader in Baptist Union. There was no such thing as worship. And even more so, those people who could be asked for advice about modern worship. So Gerry help was very important. She helped me to form as a leader of church music ministry. And Gerry began by simple helping. Help was very important help, but simple with sound, arrangement, approach to rehearsal, and after that he helped us to see spiritual foundation our ministry, and it's very important for me personally. I have always appreciate in him his ability to listen and try to help me. Interest in my life, which was expressed in the fact he spent a lot of time with me to speak, to pray, to help me. Plus the ability to accept your mistake and ask for forgiveness. And it's very important for me because I know this is a character of a strong person. And now Gerry is not only my boss for our work at Russia Worship, but also a good friend and like a second dad.
Oh, Andre. Oh my.
That is sweet. All right, and
Andre, where are you right now? So people know.
yeah,
In Moscow. Yeah. And it's cold today. Minus
cold?
13. Minus 13.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's woo.
So with Gerry, you said you were mentored by someone else.
Yeah, I was mentored by someone else, and I was passing that along to Andre as well. So the mentoring that I'd been doing, not just stopped with Andre, but Andre, you've been mentoring some other people as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a story you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I have a little story about my good friend now. From the very beginning, I had an understanding that I am not at center of my ministry. It's my character. But as a leader of worship, I help other person and team grow and develop. And I knew that I needed assistant who would then replace me some day. For this reason, it was easy for me to recruit new young promises guy into the team and help them become worship leader. One of this guy of that time was Yelisei Zakharov. Now he's a leader of music ministry of Russian Bible Church. We spent a lot of time in rehearsal, communication, and personally meeting, praying, talking about life, ministry, and before Yelisei, like me, moved from being a rock star to being a worshiper with a servant heart. And I'm very glad that Yelisei, Elijah, and I still good friend, and we work together, work some project together.
Yeah, we've been translating songs together. Yelisei is one of our key song translators in his team, and we've been co-writing some songs together. And you and Yelisei and I actually put together one of the songs that we did for Soli, the conference last October. You know, the new arrangement of "I Surrender All," and I was really excited that Yelisei on his own just stepped out and did a Christmas album that's on YouTube. Nicole, I think you have that link.
Yes, I do. Let me go
Yeah.
ahead and put that into the Facebook. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. So, folks,
Great.
if you click on that link, it'll take you to Yelisei's YouTube collection of, I think it's 7 songs, maybe 8 songs that
Eight
he
songs.
put, yeah, 8 songs that he put together. Some are translations that we've done with Russia Worship that we worked together on. Some are standard Christmas carols like Silent Night that have been out there, been translated with some cooler. One of the You need to check out What Child Is What Child Is This? One of the coolest arrangements Yelisei came up with for that. It's very, very unique and gives a whole new freshness to that song. And so, Andre, you're going out and helping others. We've got people that we've been mentoring. Kirill from Saratov that had a big impact from Bent Bible Fellowship, had been working down in there. We've been mentoring and working with Pasha out in Istra. The Grace Muhammad Church out of Illinois has been working there and got us first connected there, and with Gary Sinclair. It's just all this networking that's been going on, and Liberty University involved in helping us mentor and train people with Veronica. And Veronica came and with Nikolai and Lena Morozov,
Yeah.
three students from the Liberty training that we started back in 2015, with lots of professors coming from Liberty over 2.5, 3 years, and continues to do that. And Veronica now started a training and a seminar out in Omsk, Siberia. And Andre, you're going over there, aren't you?
Yeah, in February.
I'm like, okay, Siberia in the middle of winter. What are we thinking? This is insanity. But Veronica is in the city of Omsk, and it's 1.2 million people. So Siberia is not all of this desolate nothing there. So I mean, it's a pretty big city, and it does get hot in the summer. It was close to 90 when we were there, a year and a half ago in the summertime. And so you're going out there in a few weeks, second week of February, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, right.
And so then you didn't want to do ministry by yourself. So who did you reach out to come with you? Who did you ask to go with you?
Nikolai
Yeah.
Morozov.
Yeah, Nikolai Morozov is a great speaker, and he's a great bass player, an extra bonus for you. And so the two of you are going to go. Yeah, thank you, God. So you're going to go out there and spend, I think, about 3 days with them. And Nick's going with you. And Nick contacted you a couple of days ago and asked you if he could take somebody. What did he ask?
Yeah, he'd take his youth worship leader.
So here we have Liberty helping work with me, helping work with Andre, helping work with Nick, and now Nick is reaching out and bringing his young person on his team so he can be with him and do the 4 phases of mentoring. Even though we don't talk about it a lot specifically, that's just kind of what it is. And for Nick to bring a young person is really, really important, because that's a pivotal time in a person's life when they're going to decide, who's going to be the master, who are they going to serve, and what is their purpose, what is their mission going to be. And they're asking questions. And it's not just about what someone, what their parents taught them or what they just said, oh, this is the way it is. They start to really ask, is this really true? And so to do that as a young person is really, really important. I know that because I grew up in a Christian family. I was blessed to have Christian parents who influenced me. But when I was a teenager, back in Illinois, I had Dave King was a youth pastor. Then I moved to Virginia, and it was kind of a hard transition for me, going from the north to the south. First time, that was about as far as I'd ever traveled. I never left the state of Illinois till I was about 14. And I got down there, and there was a youth pastor down there, John Tice, that just really embraced and helped my brother and I make that transition. Then Dennis Henderson, another youth pastor that built into my life. But I would say the key mentoring youth pastor that I had that really helped me was Larry. And Larry, I think you're here with us, right?
Yes, I am here. Yes. A little
Uh,
older than I was then, but I am here.
oh yeah. Yeah, Larry, you just started mentoring and developing us even before mentoring was a thing. I mean, what were you thinking, and what was your motive behind all of that? Tell us a little bit about that.
So, well, at that time we had started doing with the college and then I with the high school had started doing high school assemblies as a ministry and traveling around doing high school assemblies and then youth rallies and that kind of thing. And so I formed a team and just right away my whole goal was seeing these young people and the potential possibly that I could see. And I just wanted to develop that. And so the ministry that happened out within the assemblies and the youth rallies and the churches was a byproduct of helping these students really develop whatever talents God had given them. And it was Gerry was amazing musically. Got him involved there. He built a whole little band that traveled with us, and vocally, actually, Gerry sang in the group for a while. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
we went into college. He worked some with us too, and so, but it was just amazing. And I have to say, just my wife and I feel so honored that God gave us that opportunity to have a part in their lives. And then there's literally people around the world that God allowed us to touch in some way or form. And Gerry, of course, is that. Of course, I had no idea that Gerry was going to do this amazing ministry, but I'm not surprised. I think God gave him a lot of wonderful talents and abilities, and I'm glad to be a part to help him develop that. I will say this, Gerry was one of those kids that whatever needed to be done, he was willing to do it. So a lot of that mentoring, the person being mentored has to have that willing heart and that willing spirit to do things.
Beautiful. So you had some pictures that we didn't show yet. Would you like to share them?
Oh yeah, sure. There's a picture with Andre and
Hold on one
Yelik.
second. Let me go ahead and share the screen. All right, there you go.
Hey.
Andre, what were you doing there?
Uh, Probably it's a Christmas retreat, a church Christmas retreat. Uh, uh, 28.
Oh, 2008. Wow.
Yeah, sorry, 2008.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah. That's
Hmm.
fine.
And we lead the worship together. My team and Yelisei stay with the electric guitar, blue
Uh-huh. Yeah,
blue
you
electric
standing
guitar.
there with electric there. Which one are you, Andre? You got hair back then.
Yeah,
You're
my
the one in
beautiful
the
long hair.
yeah, you're the one in the middle with the acoustic guitar, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think Nicole, you have another picture with Andre
Yes,
and
I
Yelik.
do. How's that one?
Well, that's me working on the sound with Andre, and we got a
Mhm.
couple. Well, that's Nasya Antonik there with us, one of our key singers, and she works with our children with Fine Arts Day Camp, helping to develop them. Then what else you got there for us? Oh yeah,
Mhm.
Andre, who's that guy that I'm with?
Oh, it's a beautiful sound engineer, Gennady. He helped us record all our album. Is the G volume.
Yeah, several of our albums,
Yeah, no problem.
Gennady was helping us
Hmm.
with, and I was in there on the sound with that. So I think you might have one more picture with Andre and Yelik that's
Let's see.
before that
Those are
one.
the only three we've got.
Okay, all right.
So do we have out in the audience any questions? We've got a few people watching. They've got some hearts from a couple people there. One person, Gerry, you may know,
Well,
Marla.
I can't. Oh yeah, yeah. Marla's watching. Yeah.
Is someone named Kai, Khai? No, but
No.
she loves it. So, or he loves it. So, if you have any questions, this is now the time to ask in the chat. If not, we will have. I can forward your questions to Gerry and the crew to answer. In any case, I want to thank you all for coming today. Is there any upcoming events with RussiaWorship.org?
Well, we're going to be following Andre as he goes out to Omsk the second weekend of February, if I have that right. And so you can follow us on Russia Worship on Facebook or RussiaWorship.org, or you can come back here to World Venture on Facebook. We'll have a link to get it over there. So we'll be following a little bit of what Andre's doing. We're also going to be inviting some other speakers to be involved, English-speaking speakers, so it can be something that you can watch as well. I did want to mention while we're waiting on any questions that might come in that when Larry was mentoring me, and Larry mentored, you mentored a lot of guys, but there were 5 of us on the high school team that you mentored and spent a lot of time with. We traveled all over the U.S. and actually in Canada and Mexico once. So we went all over, a lot of miles on that bus that we helped you drive. So a long way with a lot of breakdowns, a lot of obstacles that we had to overcome. But I just have to say that the relationships that are built in a mentoring process, especially when you're involved in a ministry and you're mentoring a ministry and you have God and Jesus as the foundation, those relationships, they last a lifetime. Anytime the 5 of us get together with Larry, we just pick up where we left off, and it might even be 3, 4, 5 years since the last time we talked with each other, but there's just this bond and there's an understanding that develops. And it just reminds me of the fact that Christianity is not a religion, it's a relationship. And mentoring is the best foundation to make that happen. And, Larry, you were doing it way before mentoring was a cool word to do, So.
And now it's a very cool thing to do, but there's a gap in people willing to be mentors. So your stories that you shared today, I'm praying will have a huge impact on our Christian audience, that they will consider the people in their lives and whom they can mentor. Anyway, thank you for all joining me today. Everyone there's been no questions. Again, bear in mind, if you have any questions later, I will make sure to forward them on. In any case, thank you everyone else for joining us today. And thank you to the panel for sharing from their hearts. It's very much appreciated. So have a great day, everybody.